You will drown in eternal night.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and to another Mortal Kombat mobile character review. This time we are taking a closer look at MK11 Noob Saibot. We will go through all of his special attacks, his fatal blow, his passive and everything else he brings to MK Mobile. MK11 Noob Saibot is part of the Netherrealm class and his passive is called Endless Night. MK11 Noob Saibot's special attacks apply Deathmark to his opponent, disabling all forms of resurrection and increasing future damage done by 10% for 20 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. After performing successful special attack 2, MK11 Noob Saibot summons his Shadow to fight in his place. Shadow starts with 25% of Noob Saibot's current health, max 3 shadows per battle. When MK11 characters block an enemy special attack, Noob Saibot's Shadow counter-attacks and applies Deathmark, and we also have plus 50% critical and lethal damage for Netherrealm teammates. MK11 Noob Saibot was introduced with update 3.0 or 3.0, and he immediately became an exclusive Faction Wars reward. Aside from Seasons rewards, he was also available in the Noob Saibot Holiday Special, which dropped in Christmas 2020. At the time of this recording, there is no other pack available for him yet, but that very likely will follow. And since he's one of the newest releases, he is maxed out with level 60 and Fusion X. Noob Saibot's gear piece is the Grim Essence and it gives you 20% power generation boost. Deathmark lasts 10 seconds longer, which is for Noob Saibot characters only, and 50% critical hit chance boost against enemies affected by bleed. In terms of his feats of strength, he will have to win 500 matches in battle mode to unlock his rune. For his victory stances, he will have to win 750 matches in Faction Wars. For his taunts, he has to perform 250 X-ray/fatal blow attacks. For his icons, he has to perform 1500 special 2 attacks. For his backgrounds, he has to knock out 500 Scorpion enemies. And for his titles, he has to perform 2000 special 1 attacks. And now we are going to take a closer look at the victory stances one by one, and we will be starting with Victory. Next up we have Warming Up. The third will be Double Trouble. And exclusive for MK11 Noob Saibot only, You Reap What You Want. And unfortunately I haven't unlocked the final one yet, so I can only show you the third one, the Double Trouble. Here is how it looks on the screen. Now I'm going to show you all of his backgrounds. Next up we have the icons. And finally the titles. MK11 Noob Saibot has a tag in attack. Each time when Noob tags in, he will have this beautiful kick animation, And this one also carries over to the Shadow. Each time when the Shadow gets KO'd, Noob comes back with this kick, and also noteworthy is that this attack can knock out your opponents. MK11 Noob Saibot has two kinds of combo enders. On his first one he delivers 2 punches, 1 kick, and then Saibot, his Shadow, takes over and hits the opponent with the sickle, knocking the opponent down to the ground. On his second combo ender, Noob and Saibot are exchanging basically punches until Noob Saibot literally delivers an uppercut with the sickle. This one also knocks the opponent down to the ground. And when it comes to Saibot, he also has both of these combo enders in his repertoire. MK11 Noob Saibot's special one attack is called Talislam, and it has a death mark effect tied to it. First he jumps out of the screen just to come back from his ground vortex and attacking the opponent from down below. If unblocked, this attack can knock out your opponent, but if it is blocked it will deal almost no damage at all, but in any case the death mark effect will be applied. His special 2 attack is called Shadow Charge, and it also has the death mark effect tied to it. This special attack is partly unblockable and also the one where he exchanges himself against his clone Saibot. It is capable of knocking out your opponent, and in case that didn't work, then Saibot is mainly there to take the incoming damage from the opponent so that Noob can come back and continue the match unharmed. By the way, this special 2 attack also kills even when the opponent has Revenant. Once all 3 Shadow clones are used up, the special 2 attack will look like this. It still has the partly unblockable properties, but instead of summoning the Shadow, he does basically the classic Sub-Zero slide. Which of course makes sense since he is the original Sub-Zero. If you are managing to get his Shadow also up to a special 2, then he will also have the slide. Needless to say, even in the slide variation, this attack is lethal and can knock out your opponents. MK11 Noob Saibot's fatal blow is called Together Again, and this one also has the death mark effect tied to it. The first part of this fatal blow reminds me a lot of the X-ray of Quan Chi, whereas the second part kind of reminds me of Cabal's fatal blow. Since we already covered the clone exchange on special 2, then we have the next part here, where when he blocks the special attacks of opponents, that the clone Saibot comes out and attacks the opponent with the sickle. This attack is also capable of knocking out your opponents, and it also carries over to other MK11 teammates. In order to perform his crushing blow, you have to be in the Saibot variation and then hit the special 1 attack with 90% or higher in order to get this extra benefit. It looks a lot like his regular special 1, just that he jumps a few times through this vortex, and of course this attack also is capable of knocking out your opponents. Once MK11 Noob Saibot has his brutality gear, he of course gets that special combo ender, which is basically like his regular uppercut, just that Saibot also assists with an extra kick. And if you are using the brutal ending talent from the talent tree, then he can even perform the brutality mid-match, basically rendering the opponent to a cloud of blood. And then we also have the entire brutality when the match ends. This time then also with the brutality letters and a little extra animation from Noob. At the time of the recording we have two different bugs. On Special 1, the minigame sometimes doesn't show up at all and deals only minimal damage. His Special 2 is also bugged, sometimes stopping the Special 2 right in the middle of the animation, basically Noob taking then the punishment from the opponent, who in most cases can retaliate because Noob is not fast enough in blocking. And as you can see, both of them also carry over to the Shadow Clone. So now it's time to recommend some gear again, and my first choice goes to Bihan's Tormentor, which will not only increase the lethal blow chance but also the reduction of power costs on all special attacks, as well as being needed to perform the brutality for Noob Saibot. Going along with this one will be Bihan's Visage, which boosts your maximum health and also gives you 25% chance to reflect basic attack damage when blocking. And of course this one is then the second part of the brutality set. Both of them combined will enable you to perform his brutality. Then my third choice would be his own gear piece, the Grim Essence, for the power generation boost, and keep in mind that if you are combining that with the Tormentor, you will also have the reduced power costs. So you have the increase and the reduction at the same time, giving Noob Saibot a lot of power to work with. Aside from that, it will increase the duration for the death mark, and when maxed out you have more critical hit chance against enemies affected by bleed. Choice number 4 goes to the Rusty Chainsaw, just to have the chance for the power cost reduction on Special 2, which means you perform a Special 2 and you are left with a Special 1, and on top you have a block breaker on basic attacks. And the winner in my book is the Living Dead armor. You can reanimate one time from the dead, and if you are executing a fatal blow or an X-ray, then you will get some extra health back. And given that Noob and Saibot already constantly exchange places, then having Noob coming back from the dead will surely add a level of frustration to your opponent. And when it comes to my personal favorite loadout, I would go with the Rusty Chainsaw, Scoundrel Cybernetic Heart, the Wailing Spirit and Living Dead. The Rusty Chainsaw, of course, for the block break and reduction of power cost on Special 2, Scoundrel Cybernetic Heart so that he will increase power once he is below a certain point of health, which of course ties into the Living Dead, which kind of ensures that he will come back while regenerating power. And then we have the Wailing Spirit, which is a very incredible gear piece, especially for Noob Saibot, because each time when he shows up on the battlefield he will power drain his opponent a little bit, and that also counts every time when the Shadow Clone is knocked out and Noob therefore comes back. So there will be a constant little bit of power draining. Of course it's a bad thing on Dark Raiden if he is your opponent, but for the rest it's actually kind of fun. Then let's move on to the character recommendation, and my first character recommendation would be MK11 Jade, giving Noob Saibot the chance to heal on DOTs like fire, bleed, poison, you name it. If you add MK11 Raiden to that team, then he will also not be able to be power drained at all. With MK11 Cabal in your team, there is a chance that all kinds of stun are removed from Noob Saibot, whereas the opponent then gets stunned in your stead. And of course, each time when one of the MK11 teammates is knocked out, then Cabal will come in to attempt his fatal blow. And given that Noob Saibot already works with a lot of lethal blow and lethal blow damage, then add MK11 Scorpion to your team to amplify this beyond belief. And now here a little disclaimer, because I don't have this character yet and I haven't played it, but since I've seen the description, I think the best choice for Noob Saibot would be MK11 Shang Tsung, just given the fact that each time when Noob Saibot knocks out an opponent that he would recover some extra health back due to the passive of Shang Tsung. That already makes Shang Tsung like the ultimate supporter for MK11 teammates. But in my case so far this is a theory and has to be proven yet, so just take this one with a grain of salt for now. Noob Saibot is a character that the community has been asking for years, and ever since he was voted #1 on the official MK Mobile Discord server with 3,303 votes for MK11 Noob Saibot, as compared to MK11 Joker, who only made it to 1,933. Then as the second in that list, of course, the community was eagerly waiting for the arrival of Noob Saibot to MK Mobile, and now that we finally have him, I only can say that the MK Mobile team did an incredible job on Noob Saibot, and it's a ton of fun to play. I love this character. I immediately became a Noob Saibot main the moment I unlocked it after many years maining Pharaoh Ermac. The only downside so far are of course the bugs, which have been there ever since he was released. And at the time of this recording we are already playing update 3.1 and they didn't even bother to fix these issues, and now during the Christmas sales they even dared to sell MK11 Noob Saibot for, I think it was like a $10 pack or something, which means they are literally selling a character which has a bug on both special attacks, which is not okay at all. That needs to be fixed, and I hope that it will be fixed in the very near future, because it's really a little downside, as I said, when playing Noob, aside from me playing him on Fusion Zero anyway, but then having to deal with bugs, it's just frustrating. But then let us get into the pros and cons. My first pro is the passive. I love the exchange with the shadow, and of course the retaliation each time you block a special attack. This constant back and forth is so much fun, especially like in faster matches with very interesting gameplay. There are so many cool situations coming up just because of this passive, so this one is just incredible. My next pro is the unblockable special 2, and then of course, now going off the point, if it wouldn't be bugged, sometimes you play matches where the bug doesn't show up at all, and then it's just super fun to use this one. And also by the looks of it, I absolutely adore it, and just the fact that they made it unblockable is a very nice touch to Noob Saibot. Also important to note here is that you can use it strategically, like using the special 2 in a moment when you see that the opponent has a high damage attack, or maybe even an X-ray or a fatal blow, so that just Saibot can take that punishment while Noob is basically getting away with it without a scratch. My third pro is the design for him, and even though I actually would have preferred the original release costume with that little bit more pointy hood, it's still incredible what the MK Mobile team has given us here. I like the design of both Noob and Saibot. It just looks amazing. I am very happy with this result. Then let's get into the negatives, and of course outstanding like a sore thumb are the bugs on Special 1 and Special 2, hopefully soon to be fixed, but at the moment it really takes away some of the enjoyment in terms of his gameplay, so they have to be listed here. Then my second con would be that Saibot dies a little bit too fast, and of course, granted, I'm just playing him on Fusion 0, but on the other hand, if I would play a maxed out team, then I would also face way stronger opponents. And while we're already talking about Saibot, it's a very bad thing that he unfortunately doesn't have the benefits of the gear that was given to Noob. For example, Saibot will have no block breaker or anything of that sort. So just to put that thing into a picture, reaching a special 2 with Saibot alone is quite a challenge at times, especially if you play him on low fusions. Then the third and final con, and many of you feel the same way as I have seen during the last few weeks. Everybody is kind of disappointed with the kind of brutality they gave to Noob, and I unfortunately have to agree here. Even as we did our podcasts and we were ranking the brutalities, we all ranked Noob's brutality last, and that is already pretty telling. But now it's time to go into a final rating for MK11 Noob Saibot, and despite the bugs he has up, I will give him a solid 8 out of 10, and you can imagine that this number will at least increase by 1 once these bugs are fixed, but for now we have to take that into account because it literally ruins a little bit of the fun when playing him, and since they didn't bother to fix it, it has to also show in the rating. But as I already said, despite these bugs, I still give him an 8 out of 10 because he's so much fun to play. The design is incredible, the basic attack chaining is really up to par, so we absolutely have no issues here on that department. And sure, the brutality may not be a highlight, but if you're using brutal ending, then a dead character is a dead character, and that is already the main point of using a brutality. So it is useful in any case, and pretty soon I will have finished my 750 matches with him in Faction Wars alone, and that goes only for hard battles. I really enjoy playing Noob, and I think I will just be done with that task, maybe by tomorrow or the day after, we will see. But yeah, that concludes my review for MK11 Noob Saibot, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. This one was quite a long one, but there was also a lot of stuff to cover, given that his clone also has very special features, all tied together into one amazing character. And I am aware that he's very hard to unlock, so I wish all of you the best of luck in getting him in one of the next Faction Wars seasons. Thank you for tuning in once again. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. In case you didn't like the video, hit the dislike button twice just to make sure. And if you want to support the channel a little further, please consider joining the Patreon family of KC Mobile Gaming. You can already do that with as little as just $1 a month. And also follow me on social media like Twitter and Facebook. You will find all the necessary information in the description below of every video. If you want to see more content, then why don't you just click on one of those 2 videos here. Thank you for your support. Have a good one. KC over and out.